You actually, when you opened up and you were talking about your friend Mr. Chapman, you said, don't look to Washington for role models. There's a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
Let's first talk about Turkey and its invasion. And I know you've been very vocal about that.
Yeah, I think this is a disaster in the making. The Kurds who helped us fight and defeat ISIS, and ISIS is a threat to America. If you believe we can leave the Mideast and ISIS will leave us alone, you're not listening to what they're saying. They want to come to America, and the only way to stop them is to have partners in the region to keep them from coming to America. You may be tired of fighting ISIS, but they're not tired of fighting you. And the Kurds are the ground forces that destroyed the caliphate with American air power. We've abandoned them. That breaks my heart. When Turkey comes into Syria, they're going to be going after the Kurds, not ISIS. I think the jailbreak is coming. I think ISIS comes back, and if you try to outsource our national security to Russia, Iran, or Turkey, that's a huge mistake because they cannot take care of America like Americans can. So I hope the president will change his mind and readjust his policy before it's too late.
All right, and also about this impeachment inquiry.
Yeah.
Basically, you said it would ruin the country.
Yeah, I think it's going. Yeah, I think it's going to divide the country unnecessarily. I looked at the Mueller report. There were no charges filed. There was no collusion. This phone call with Ukraine, I'm okay with it. There's a lot of corruption. We give them a bunch of money, so we should know who we're giving money to. So I think impeachment is off base. The House needs to vote on impeachment. They need to take a stand. And anybody who wants to impeach the president based on this transcript of the phone call, I just don't see that being reasonable. You cannot like what he did. But if you don't like Donald Trump, vote him out. Impeachment is too far, and I'm going to do everything I can to stop it before it starts.
So a lot of people have been playing your clip back when the impeachment happened during the Clinton years, and they're comparing it to what you're saying now, talking about it's a moral case.
Sure.
Is this not based on morality?
Well, I had the courage of my convictions. I voted to impeach Clinton. We had a trial. I just asked the Democrats to do what we did. If you think he's done something bad for the country, vote. They haven't voted yet. And if they do vote to open up an inquiry, the president should cooperate. But if I were him, I wouldn't cooperate with this fake inquiry. That they're not doing it the right way. And Bill Clinton lost his law license and paid thousands of dollars in fines for lying to the court. What the president's done, in my view, is not an impeachable offense. If you don't like the phone call, fine. But there's no quid pro quo there.
What rises to an impeachable offense?
I think when somebody takes the law in their own hands for benefit, like President Clinton was sued by several women about sexual harassment, and he hid the evidence from the court. He encouraged people to lie. He took the law in his own hands, and he got punished for that. Right now, the president was trying to find out, is Ukraine a good investment? He never said, if you don't investigate Joe Biden, I'll cut the money off. That just didn't happen. Now, I don't know what's coming down the pipe, but based on what I know today, there's no case there. And I'm going to try to get Republican senators to sign a letter saying the phone call is not enough.
What would you like to say about former Congressman Trey Gowdy, Mr. Spartanburg himself, being part of the legal team now for the White House?
It's one of the best decisions the president has made in hiring Trey. He understands the Congress. He's a brilliant lawyer. He's got a cool head about him. And here's the question, will the president listen? I hope he'll listen, because Trey will give you good advice. So I support the president when I can. I think he's done generally a very good job. But this move in Syria is very disturbing. It's exactly what Obama did. It makes us less safe. But when it comes to impeachment, I think Trey Gowdy will be a great addition to the Trump team, and we'll see what happens. For the good of the country, I hope it doesn't happen.
It seems like we're in a decisive time, obviously. You know, between parties and stuff like that. I guess, what's your overall take for everyone to come to the table and get this country working in a positive manner?
Well, Clinton got impeached, but he still did business. So we did a lot of things with President Clinton during impeachment. Maybe we can do something on prescription drugs, common sense gun reform. there's some things that we can do out there to make America stronger and safer. We all agree to rebuild the military. Maybe the president will change his mind about Syria. We can only hope. But because we're going through this fight doesn't mean we can't work together. And I've been pleased with the reaction I've seen from Democrats being upset about the president's decision to abandon the Kurds and let ISIS come back. So there's some bipartisanship when it comes to foreign policy. Maybe it will spill over into prescription drugs. We might could do something there, and we'll just see what happens. I hope we can do something on common sense gun control.
Have you, the president fires off many tweets. Have you ever had a conversation with him where you're like, you know what, just calm down, let's and what's his reaction? And I guess it's something that we're not accustomed to seeing. It's kind of shocking in a way for a lot of people.
He's a non-conventional president, that's to say the least, but he's rebuilt the military, which I like. We've taken the fight to China, which was necessary. We've cut taxes. He's put great judges on the court. So there's a lot to be proud of when it comes to President Trump. I saw the tweet today, we're going to leave the Mideast. This is not our problem. I would say to the president, Obama had that same attitude. That's pretty naive, quite frankly. Radical Islam is not going to stop fighting us. So the only way to protect us here at home is to keep the fight in their backyard, not ours. I think this is the biggest mistake of his presidency. The safe zone concept was working until he abandoned it. I hope he'll change his mind. But what I'll do next week is draft up sanctions to go after Turkey, because when they come into Syria, they're making America less safe. ISIS is going to come back because the Kurds can't fight Turkey and watch ISIS all at the same time. So I'll be pushing back against Turkey. And I don't judge President Trump by what he tweets, but by what he does. And he's done a lot of good things. Syria is not one of them. Thanks.